Hey, welcome back. Learning Parshas Achri Kedoshim, two Parshas together this week. And the title today is The Power of Thought and Speech. The pasuk in this week Parsha, chapter 19, verse 16, says in Hebrew, Loiselech rochil ba'amecha, which in short means, do not be a gossiper. Don't be a gossiper. Rochil is from the word roichel. Roichel is a merchant. Merchant back in the days, it would be someone that carries merchandise from one place to another. The Torah says, don't be rochil, don't be the one to carry information and pass it on to other people. Halacha is that if I tell you something, you're not allowed to tell it to anybody else unless I gave you permission to say it, and vice versa. If you told me something, and you didn't tell me, by the way, you can pass it on, I'm not allowed to pass it on without your permission. So, for example, you said to me, next weekend I'm going for a vacation in Cancun. I got to keep it to myself, unless you say you can pass on the information if you want to. That's rechilus. I'm not saying anything. I'm not saying a lie. I'm not saying anything negative about you. I'm just saying.
No, you're containing. You're holding back.
No, I'm not even containing. The opposite. The Torah wants me to contain the information.
Right.
But what I'm saying is that I might even say something positive about you. Well, so and so is making a good living. He told me. Did he tell you to say it? He didn't tell you to say it. You're not allowed to say it. That's what rochil is. Rochil is someone that passes on information. Not necessarily negative information and not necessarily a lie. It's not a lie and it's not bad information. If I told you something personal, you're not allowed to pass it on without my permission. Then you become rochil. And you never know what kind of trouble you can cause. I'm saying you, but not you. I'm talking general. No one knows the impact of what can happen by him passing on information. For example, I tell you, last night I went to the movies and I saw this great movie. Just an example, right? Then I went home and my wife said, "What happened? Where have you been?" And I said to my wife, "Oh, I was learning. I went to shul." Okay? To you, I said I went to the movies and I saw this movie. To my wife, I said I went to shul. Okay? White lie. Whatever lie you call it.
Right.
So now you went to your wife and said, by the way, so-and-so told me that he went to the movie and he saw this great movie. And your wife speaks to her friend and she tells her, so-and-so was in the movies last night and he saw it and it's a good movie. Maybe we should go see it also. And so calls my wife. She says, you know what? You want to go to the movie? I heard your husband went. And it's a good movie. So when did my husband go? So now she caught on to the lie. Creates a whole war.
Right.
But why? Because someone opened their mouth without even asking if they should pass on the information.
Right.
If I trust you with certain information, you can't pass it on without a permission.
Right.
That's rochil, that's rechilus. People don't understand it because you think, oh, but I'm not saying anything bad. I'm not saying, but you don't know. You don't know what's going to happen with that information.
Especially if you went on vacation, right? You don't want to put on Facebook, hey, I'm in Spain right this minute, yada yada.
No.
Yada,
if you put on
Facebook,
one second. If you put it on Facebook, that's obvious that you're sharing it with the world.
Right. But
I'm talking about personal thing. We have a conversation. Now I'm telling you my plans.
Right.
The next week I'm gonna go so and so. Or I'm going to fly somewhere. Or I'm doing a specific job for someone. Or I'm doing a specific business. You're not allowed to say it unless I tell you. You may pass on the information.
Oh yeah, that I get.
Everything has to be nothing to do with it's not necessarily business secrets or things like that. In general, any information you hear, if it's not, we're not talking about politics and things, but information, personal information about someone, you cannot pass it on without permission.
Without permission.
So God instructed Moses to tell the Jewish people, you must not go around as a gossip monger. Gossip monger. Chapter
Watch
19.
Your tongue over this whole entire...
Chapter 19, verse 16. According to the Talmud, look at this. Talmud says, gossip kills 3 people. 3 people it kills. The speaker, the listener, and the object of the gossip. If it was about you or about... It kills 3 people. The one who speaks, the one who says it, the one who listens to it, and the one that it was said about. Okay? So that the speaker and listener deserve to be punished is understandable. The one who said it and the one who listened to it, we can understand somewhat. Why did you listen to it? You could have told him, stop, I don't want to hear it. Did he give you permission to speak about it? If you stop him, it's something else. But if you enjoy the juicy news, then it's a problem. So the Gemara says, fine, I understand why the gossiper and the listener, why these guys should be punished. But why the one that they spoke about should be punished? What did he do? He didn't do anything bad. Right? If I speak about you, I tell him something about you, why? Well, you didn't do anything. Why is it your fault? Why are you being punished? Because he said 3 people are being punished.
Right.
So why?
Allowing that person to speak.
So let's see. But why should the person about whom they are gossip suffer? The answer is that speaking about another person's shortcomings does more than just belittle him. It's not just belittling him. That does much more. What is it that it does? It says words have the power to bring latent energy into actuality, meaning bring something negative that is in him, in that person. You can awaken the beast, so to speak. Awakening negativity within somebody by speaking about him. If you speak something about someone negatively, and it's not even there yet, but you aroused it by saying it, you kind of brought it to the open, that negativity. So it says, when we speak about a person's negative traits, it activates them and reinforces them. As a result, his behavior takes a turn for the worse, and thus incurs punishment. That's why he's being punished, because he was awoke. His negative traits were now aroused, and now he's using them negatively, so he's punished. Conversely, when we speak about the good traits of another person, we wake them up also, right? Good traits, you wake them up. We reveal and reinforce those traits. That's why we should always focus on the good traits, because we reveal them, we enforce them, and enhance them.
It's like the worst thing is like a matchmaker. If you're looking like at the fiddle on the roof, if she just says, you make sure that Seidel here goes with David, and that's it, right? And they work out an understanding of what negative and positive traits there are in that. No, when it comes to matchmaking and shidduchim and marriages, there's a little bit different. It's not. I'm not saying if somebody, for example, is suffering from a situation, and a girl is calling me to ask me about the person, it's not so clear that I'm allowed to ignore the whole thing and not mention anything about the situation, because you don't want to. What if the guy will hide? For example, a guy takes pills. He has a mental issue, and he takes pills. And if I don't say anything to the girl, and then she marries the guy, and she finds out, and later on she finds out that he's taking pills, and she walks away. I just blew a wedding, $50,000, and aggravation and divorce and rabbis and who knows what is going to happen from this. So it's not so simple. Sometimes you need to find ways to express certain things.
Yeah, it's not so simple. It's not simple to say it, not so simple not to say it. That's why not everyone should, not always people should say, sometimes it's better to say, I don't know. When in your I don't know, many times you reveal much more than saying what the person has, because they say, well, how come he doesn't know? Like I just know about a friend. He was inquiring about someone. He said, "What happened to this guy? Did he start drinking again?" So the other person didn't answer him. He said, "I'm gonna check." So he said from his response, I already understood, because they're very close to each other, and obviously he knows if he's drinking or not. But he didn't say he is drinking, and didn't say he's not. You understand? There's a fine line. But over it says, the point is that we speak positively about someone, we're reinforcing the positive. If God forbid we do the opposite, we reinforce the negative. So it is not only prohibited to speak derogatorily about someone, it is also prohibited to think about them derogatorily. Remember, we said the power of thought and speech. In some ways, thinking negatively about someone is more serious than speaking negatively about them. Thinking, which is a more spiritual power in you, power of thinking, and if you think negatively about yourself or someone else, it's more harmful than sometimes speaking negatively about yourself or other people. So you know that Lashon Hara should not be even said about your own self. A person should not belittle his own self, because when you belittle yourself, then you reinforce negativity. When you are empowering yourself, you speak positively about yourself and other people, then you are empowering and reinforcing positive things. And now we'll go to the portion of Geula. You can find it in the Chayenu on page 169. It says, "You shall sanctify yourselves and be holy." That's from chapter 20, verse 7. You shall sanctify yourself today and be holy in the era of redemption. So you sanctify yourself today, and you will become holy, completely kadosh, holy, in the time of redemption. But that's now is a preparation that you need to sanctify yourself, and in the time of redemption you become holy. The first clause is an instruction to observe the positive and negative commandments, and thereby sanctify ourselves. Again, observing the positive and negative commandments, enabling us to sanctify ourselves. The second clause is the reward. The Midrash teaches that in the future era, the time of Mashiach, the highest angels will ask the Jewish people for information about God deeds. The higher angels will ask Jewish people about Hashem's deeds, because the sanctity of the Jewish people will then be greater even than the ministering angels. Meaning you can reach now, through Torah and mitzvahs, you can get to a higher level ultimately than the angels. And they will come to you to ask you about God. Godly being will come to you to ask information about God. That will be our reward for sanctifying ourselves in present era. So in this present era, in this time, we sanctify ourselves, for the time of Mashiach will be called holy, Kedoshim. And then the angels will need us to know about Hashem. Buchim Tiu will have shortly another video of Ein Yaakov. Let me just answer Zahava. What was the question? Why is the person that is being spoken about deserve punishment? So we said the answer. The answer was that the person that they spoke negatively about, since they spoke negatively about him, they aroused within him negativity. They reinforced his shortcomings and his deficiencies, and now they're coming out to the open, these negative character traits and shortcomings, and it caused them that person to do bad things, because this negativity is reinforced, is now coming out, and because of his bad deeds, he's going to be punished. So it's not that directly is being punished through the slander, the gossip that was said about him. It's because they saw negativity in him. They aroused that negativity, and now he's acting negatively, and that is going to be punished for it. Even if he didn't hear it, the fact that someone says something negative about another person, it already arouses. He finds it in him, and he brings it to the open. Even if that person did not hear it, And we learn even something more severe, that even if you're thinking negative about someone else, you can also awaken the beast, so to speak. You can awaken negativity just by thinking negatively about someone else. But that's why it's important to make sure that our thoughts and our speech are always pure, on the right side, on the side of chesed, judging somebody favorably, and looking people in a positive way. The famous teaching of, I believe, the third Lubavitcher Rebbe said, why do we have two eyes? One eye is to see positivity with other people, and the other eye is to see our shortcomings, not someone else's shortcomings. Because when we see our shortcomings, right away work on it. But we look at other people, and we can, God forbid, awaken some negativity that they might have. Buchim Tiu, I'm going away for a minute, and I'll put another video for Ein Yaakov.